"Please don't laugh at my crutches," she whispered, then the single dad said words she'd never forget. The restaurant was warm, soft, and glowing, string lights hanging like little stars across the ceiling. But Avery didn't see any of it. She only saw the polished floor and the stares she was certain she'd get the moment she walked in on her crutches. Her palms were already sweating. She paused at the entrance, taking a shaky breath before stepping inside. "Please don't fall again," she begged silently. "Not today." Just 6 months ago, an accident had shattered her right leg so badly doctors weren't sure she'd walk again. She could. Barely, but only with the help of metal crutches. And ever since, she'd felt like the world saw the crutches before they saw her. Tonight she was supposed to meet a potential investor for her small baking business. It was her last shot before shutting everything down. But the thought of limping across the crowded place made her stomach twist. That's when she heard it, a small voice behind her. "Daddy, look, she's like a superhero." Avery turned. A little girl, maybe 6, stood holding the hand of a tall man with warm brown eyes and sleeves rolled to his forearms. The girl's eyes sparkled with excitement as she pointed at Avery's crutches. "Kaya," the man murmured gently, "remember what we said about pointing. But she has cool sticks." Kaya whispered loudly, smiling up at Avery. Avery's heart fluttered with embarrassment, and she managed a small smile. "They're not as cool as they look." The father stepped closer, his voice soft. "I'm sorry." "She's enthusiastic. It's okay," Avery said, hugging the crutch handles. "I just hope they don't make people laugh." Something changed in the man's expression, an instant spark of understanding mixed with something protective. He stepped closer. "No one with a heart would ever laugh," he said quietly. "And anyone who would, isn't someone worth worrying about." Avery opened her mouth, but before she could respond, Kaya tugged her dad's hand. "Daddy, she's nervous," the little girl whispered with the seriousness of a doctor. "Can we help?" Her father smiled at Avery, warm, steady, solid in a way she desperately needed at that moment. "May we walk with you?" he asked. The question stunned her. People usually held doors open with pity. Some looked away, pretending not to notice. Others stared like she was broken. No one had ever asked to walk with her. I'd like that," she said softly. He offered his arm, not forcefully, just a gentle invitation. Avery didn't take it, but knowing it was there calmed the tremble in her chest. Together they walked slowly inside, Kaya hopping ahead like an excited little bird. "What's your name?" he asked. "Avery. I'm Lander. This is my tornado, Kaya." "I'm a nice tornado," the girl announced proudly. Avery laughed, and for the first time that evening, it didn't feel forced. When they reached the center of the restaurant, Avery spotted the man she was supposed to meet, Robert Turner, the investor. He sat stiffly at a table, checking his watch with clear impatience. Lander followed her gaze. "Big meeting." "Yeah," she whispered. "Big enough that if it goes badly, everything I've worked for is gone." Lander nodded thoughtfully. "Then go in with your head up. Your courage walked you here, not those crutches." Her throat tightened. She didn't know why his words hit so deeply. Maybe because they were exactly what she needed. Maybe because he spoke them like he truly saw her, not the metal supports under her arms. "Thank you," she whispered. He smiled. "Anytime." But when Avery moved toward the table, her crutch caught on a slightly raised corner of the rug. Her balance shifted, her heart lurched. Before panic could swallow her, Lander stepped behind her, steadying her with a gentle hand at her back. "You're okay," he murmured. "I've got you." She breathed shakily. "I'm so tired of being a problem." "You're not a problem," he said firmly. "You're a person doing her best, and that's stronger than you think." His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket. She straightened and approached the table. Robert barely glanced up. "You're late." Avery swallowed. "I'm sorry. It took." "No excuses," he cut in dryly. "I don't have much time." "Sit." Lander's jaw tightened. He lowered his voice, speaking only so she could hear. "You don't owe him an apology for existing." Avery held her crutches a little tighter. "You're right." She took a breath and sat across from the investor. The meeting started off rough. Robert seemed uninterested, barely looking at her business proposal. Avery's hands shook a little as she explained her bakery, her recipes, her dreams, the customers who loved her pastries. Robert finally sighed, closing the folder. "Look, Miss Avery. You seem very sweet, but your numbers are too small. The risk is too big." "I'm not." "Excuse me." Lander's voice cut through the air like warm steel. Both Avery and Robert looked up. I'm sorry to interrupt, Lander said, but I couldn't help overhearing. Robert frowned. Do you mind? This is a private. She works harder on one leg than most people do on two, Lander said calmly. She built a business from scratch, earned loyal customers, and still shows up even when it hurts just to stand. If you can't see the value in someone like that, maybe you're not the investor she needs. Avery's heart pounded. Robert blinked, stunned. And who are you? Someone who recognizes real grit when he sees it. Avery didn't know whether to hide or cry or stand up and cheer. Robert's expression soured. This meeting is over. He gathered his papers and stood. Good luck, you'll need it. The moment he walked away, Avery felt everything crumble. Her throat tightened painfully. I'm sorry, she whispered to Lander. I didn't mean to drag you into. Avery. His voice was gentle but firm. He didn't walk away because of you. He walked away because he was the wrong partner. She blinked rapidly to keep tears from falling. Kaya climbed into the chair Robert had vacated and plopped her tiny backpack onto the table. You don't need him, Kaya announced. Daddy says brave people make their own doors when other people close them. Avery laughed through a tear. Your daddy sounds very wise. He is, Kaya puffed proudly. And he cooks pancakes that look like animals. Lander rubbed the back of his neck, slightly embarrassed. Kaya exaggerates. No I don't, she insisted. Avery wiped her cheek. Thank you, both of you. I didn't expect any of this. You didn't have to, Lander said. Some people deserve support without having to ask. His eyes held hers, steady, kind, and warm enough to melt all the fear in her chest. Can I buy you two dinner? Avery asked shyly. Lander smiled. Only if we get to walk you home after. Avery felt her cheeks warm. For the first time in months, the weight of her crutches didn't feel so heavy. For the first time in months, someone saw her, not the girl with the broken leg, not the girl struggling to stand, but a woman worth standing beside. And as Kaya handed her a crayon drawing of 3 stick figures holding hands, Avery knew one thing for sure. She would never forget the words that changed everything. Your courage walked you here, not those crutches.